What's going on, baseball fans? How are we doing? So we're about a month away from the All-Star game, so let's go pick some All-Star teams. Okay, so here we go. Phase 1 will be from June 8th to June 30th, and then the finals for the voting will be July 5th to July 8th. So let's start off with first base, shall we? Now, I have a hunch that probably Vlad is going to win this just because of the name power alone. He has been heating up recently, so let's see how he does over the next few weeks. But as of right now, if I'm picking right now, I mean, I got to go Ty France. This guy's just been having an awesome year. If we go take a look at the Fangraph rankings among first basemen, Ty France in the American League leads the American League in Fangraph WAR with a full win. He's at a 2.3 WAR. He's miles ahead of everyone offensively. He's just been having a really solid year, hitting 327, over a 400 on base, just under a 500 slugging, a 168 WRC plus, 9 homers, 38 RBIs. Now, I do think Vlad is going to end up winning this. I think Anthony Rizzo could get some votes as well. Again, it's going to be interesting to see how Vlad does over the next few weeks. He has been hitting a bit better recently, but right now, I have to go Ty France here. And in the National League, this one's easy. I'm going Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt has been out of his mind. Among all first basemen in Fangraph WAR, he leads in Fangraph WAR with a 3.0. I mean, he is just insane this year. He's hitting 341, a 421 on base, a 602 slugging, a 187 WRC plus, 12 homers, 47 RBIs. And actually, if we go take a look at the overall leaderboards in all of Major League Baseball, Paul Goldschmidt ranks 6th overall in Fangraph WAR, but that's when you combine his defense. If you take a look at the offense, Paul Goldschmidt is the #1 offensive player in all of Major League Baseball, according to Fangraphs. That one was easy. Ty France in the American League, Paul Goldschmidt in the National League. Moving on to the second baseman. In the American League, I think you're going to have a few guys that are going to get some votes. I don't think one guy is going to run away with it. Jose Altuve, I think, will definitely get some votes. He's having a very good season, hitting 280, 11 homers, 19 RBIs, and 885 OPS. I think Santiago Espinal is going to get some votes as well. But my vote is going to go to Andres Gimenez. This guy, I think, has just been quietly having a really good season. If you take a look at the rankings overall, over 45 games, he's hitting 310, a 340 on base, a 545 slugging. Now, he does have a pretty high batting average on balls in play, a 365 BABIP. I think that is going to come down eventually. League average is usually around 280, 290. So I think Gimenez is getting a bit of luck there. But if we take a look here, he has a good amount of RBIs, 30 RBIs. That's actually 11 more than Jose Altuve. And if we actually take a look at the leaderboards among second basemen, Andre Gimenez ranks 3rd overall right now in the American League with RBIs. But what I also love about Gimenez, this guy's playing great defense overall. He has a 5.3 defense at second base right now, which is 2nd overall behind Jonathan Schoop. But Jonathan Schoop is having a very poor offensive season this year. To me, I really like Andres Gimenez, so he's going to get my vote for the American League. Now, for the National League. If we go take a look here, Tommy Edman actually has played more second base than he has shortstop, but because of Nolan Gorman coming up, Edman is now playing shortstop. So to me, I think the guy that you got to go with is Jazz Chisholm. And I know Jeff McNeil is having a very solid season. Jeff McNeil is hitting 314, a 368 on base. But I love what Jazz Chisholm is bringing to the table. He's at double-digit home runs, 10 homers. He's got 37 RBIs. This is a little bit more than Jeff McNeil. He's also got 9 stolen bases as well. I love the ISO percentage of 280. That is miles ahead of Jeff McNeil right now. Jeff McNeil does have the slightly higher WRC+. Jazz Chisholm, however, if you were to counteract that, I think the slight better defense makes up for that. To me, my vote goes to Jazz Chisholm. Just a fun player as well. I think him getting the nod at second base in the All-Star game, I think that's just going to be good for Major League Baseball. He's a fun player. So for the American League, I have Andres Gimenez, and for the National League, I have Jazz Chisholm. Moving on to third base. In the American League, this one's going to be tough. I think this is going to be a really close race Rafael Devers, Jose Ramirez, I think, are the top two guys right now. To me, I don't see anyone else even being in this conversation. It's going to come down to one of these two. It's extremely close. Rafael Devers has a slight edge, 3.3 Fangraph WAR. Jose Ramirez with a 3.1. There are some slight differences here. Rafael Devers has the much higher batting average, a 342 batting average. He has just been incredible putting the bat on the ball. Rafael Devers, extremely dangerous. However, with Jose Ramirez, he has an argument too. He has a couple more home runs as of right now. He has 23 more RBIs. He's got 9 more stolen bases. He walks more than Rafael Devers. He strikes out less. He also has a much higher ISO percentage. In the end, I think, even though Rafael Devers has the slight edge and the much higher batting average, I got to go Jose Ramirez, man. I think, and the fact that the Guardians, they don't have a lot of offense there, I think Jose Ramirez has to carry the slack a lot more. With Devers, you have a lot more bats in that lineup. I think Jose Ramirez, he is just clearly the star for the Guardians. And I just think, the more RBIs, he has more stolen bases. Yeah, Devers is killing him in batting average, but Ramirez is getting on base. He's doing a little bit better with the slugging. The WRC plus is slightly higher. Now, I also have to give some credit to Rafael Devers. His defense has been so much better than it has in prior years. But for me, my vote is going to go Jose Ramirez. I love me some Rafi Devers, man, but Jose Ramirez, he gets my vote for the American League. Now, let's go take a look at the third baseman in the National League. I think it's going to come down to a few guys. Manny Machado, Nolan Arenado, and I think Austin Riley is going to get in on the mix here as well. Also, coming off of a World Series championship, that's definitely going to help, I think. But Austin Riley, if we take a look at the numbers, in April, he had a pretty good start to the year. He was hitting 268, a 355 on base, a 573 slugging. Overall, a 928 OPS. He had a 154 WRC+. Then in May, he kind of cooled off a little bit. Batting average wasn't as good in May. The on base was not as good. The slugging went down. But if you take a look at his numbers in June so far, this month, he's hitting 323, a 382 on base, a 742 slugging, a 199 WRC+. He has just been really good so far this month. It's still pretty early. We got a whole month to go here, but I think he's definitely moving himself into this conversation. He's flying up these leaderboards, but I think the guy that is going to end up getting it, I think it's going to be Machado. I think Arenado is going to get a lot of votes too. I think this is going to be really close, but the guy that I think should get it is Machado. If we take a look at the numbers, Machado, he is just far ahead of Arenado when it comes to the offense, and the defense is a little bit better there too. Machado has the better batting average. He has the better on base, the better slugging, the better WRC+. Yeah, Arenado as of right now is one more home run, but I mean, to me, Machado, that slash line is better. He's got 7 stolen bases as well. Arenado doesn't have any. I think the guy that you got to pick here is Machado. I think he deserves it. He's having a really good year. I feel like we need to start hearing more about Machado. But these are the two guys I'm going to go with. Jose Ramirez in the American League and Manny Machado in the National League. Let's move on to the shortstops, and there are a lot of good ones to pick from. If we go to the American League leaderboards on Fangraphs when it comes to shortstops, as you can see here, there's a lot to choose from. Jeremy Pena right now leads in Fangraph WAR. The big reason, the defense. The defense has been phenomenal from him, but he's also playing pretty decently offensively. He's hitting 277, 330 on base, the 463 slugging. Pretty solid slash line for a rookie. Now, and also the batting average and on base have been coming up a lot lately. His slugging has been pretty good all season, but the batting average and on base, he has been improving those. And again, the defense is just so good. To me, I think the two guys this is going to come down to are Bogaerts and Tim Anderson. So, with Tim Anderson, he has the much better slash line overall. Much higher batting average, a better on base, better slugging, better WRC+. He's even got more stolen bases here. Bogaerts, yeah, he's got another homer. He's got 26 RBIs. That's a little bit more than Tim Anderson. And also with Bogaerts, he's played in 16 more games. Now, with Tim Anderson, though, that slash line is just so much better. He's actually playing some pretty decent defense this year. Tim Anderson has never been much of a defender out there, but he's playing pretty solid defense. I think Tim Anderson is going to get my vote. As much as I would like to have Xander Bogaerts there, I think just with what Tim Anderson has done in 16 less games, I think Tim Anderson, as of right now, has to be the guy. So I'm going to go Tim Anderson for right now. Now, let's move on to the National League. If you take a look at the National League, right now, Tommy Edman is the top guy on the Shortstop Fangraph leaderboards. Tommy Edman, though, has not played as much shortstop as these other guys. He recently just moved over to short because of Nolan Gorman getting called up to play second. So I'm not going to have Tommy Edman in this discussion. I think Tommy Edman should make the All-Star game. I think he should be a guy off of the bench. I think Edman absolutely deserves to be on this team. For the starting nod at shortstop, I think it's going to come down to a few guys: Swanson, Lindor, and Trey Turner. My vote is actually going to go to Francisco Lindor. I actually really like Francisco Lindor this year, and here's why. He's having, first off, a bounce back year from last year. He's hitting .250, .329 on base, .429 slugging. Dansby Swanson overall has the better slash line, but they both have the same WRC plus. And where I like Lindor a little bit more, he's driving in more runs than Swanson. 45 RBIs compared to 26 with Swanson. He's also got a few more home runs, right around the same when it comes to stolen bases. And Francisco Lindor is actually striking out less than Swanson, and Lindor has the better ISO percentage, right? Almost about 30 points higher. So for me, I'm going to give Lindor the vote. I just like that Lindor has had himself a bounce-back season this year, and I'm going to give the guy some credit there. So my shortstops this year, Tim Anderson for the American League and Francisco Lindor for the National League. Let's move on to the catchers. Let's go to the American League, and man, oh man, Alejandro Kirk has been on fire this year. Holy cow, look at this slash line. He's hitting .322, a .401 on base, a .477 slugging, a .152 WRC plus. Yeah, he's negatives in the base running, but whatever. Not a lot of RBIs from him, 5 home runs, but that slash line is just so good, and he's also playing some good defense as well. Easy pick for me for the American League. I'm going to go with Alejandro Kirk. For the National League, I think you got a few guys that will get some votes. We got Wilson Contreras right here at the top. We got JT Realmuto. He's always a pretty popular one. And even someone like Dalton Varsho, he's been playing a little bit of catcher this year. If we go take a look at Dalton Varsho, he has played 22 games at catcher. And actually, is he here? Maybe he's going to be more... Okay, no, he is a choice here. So I think you could see Varsho get some picks for sure. Maybe even someone like Travis d'Arnaud coming off of a World Series. But my vote is going to go to Wilson Contreras. Where are you, Mr. Wilson Contreras? There you are. This guy has just been off the charts. I mean, look at these numbers. He's got 10 homers, 23 RBIs, hitting .277. He's got over a .400 on base, a .530 slugging. Is easily leading in the National League. He's at a .162 WRC plus. He's a little negative into the defense, but Wilson Contreras, for the most part, he's going to get it done out there behind the plate. This guy's just been on fire offensively. So those are my two picks for catcher: Alejandro Kirk for the American League and Wilson Contreras for the National League. Let's move on to the outfield. Now we can pick 3 per league, and easily I'm going to go Aaron Judge to start things off in the American League. This guy has just been an absolute force this year. 22 homers. And actually, if we pull up the leaderboards for all of Major League Baseball right now, Aaron Judge is right at the top when it comes to home runs. Leads the league with 22. Leads the major leagues with 22. The slash line is just so good, too. A .311 batting average, a .383 on base, a .675 slugging. And if we actually pull up the slugging percentages, he leads by a mile when it comes to slugging percentage as well. The WRC plus right below 200. Easy pick for the outfield in the American League. I'm also going to go with Mr. Mike Trout. This guy just doesn't seem to ever slow down. I don't think he ever will. The best player in the universe. Easy pick there, Mike Trout. If we go take a look at his numbers, this guy's just been so good, man. Hitting .284, .388 on base, a .601 slugging, .182 WRC plus, 14 homers. Absolutely. You got to have Mike Trout in here. Now, who is going to be the last guy? I think you could go with a few different guys here. I would actually love personally, I would love for Julio Rodriguez to get some votes. I hope he does. He has just been awesome as of late. He's been really heating up. Take a look at his stats. Hitting 270, a 336 on base, 422 slugging. Pretty decent overall, but look at the 17 stolen bases, 7 homers. He's definitely going to get to 20. Now, the question is, will he get to 20 home runs? I think he definitely could. I mean, we still got how many more games left? We're a third of the way through the season. I think Rodriguez can get to 20. What a great season that would be for a rookie. A 2020 season? Absolutely. But for me, he's not going to get my vote. The guy that is going to get my vote, he's been hurt a bit lately, but he was just setting the world on fire before he was getting a bit, he was going through some injuries the last few weeks, is Taylor Ward, man. Again, if you take a look, Trout's played in 52 games, while Ward has played 14 less at 38. But, oh my goodness, this guy was just on fire. In 38 games this year, hitting 333, a 443 on base, a 644 slugging. And actually, if we take a look at on-base percentage, Taylor Ward, he leads it by a mile. Are you kidding me? A 212 WRC plus. If we actually pull up the rankings there, he leads in that as well. The big thing with Ward is just staying healthy. But I think for what he has done, yes, he's played in less games, but you got to give this guy the vote for the American League. So 2 Angels in the outfield and Aaron Judge in the American League. Now, let's move on to the National League, shall we? And the easy one for me, like Judge was in the American League, Mookie Betts, absolutely. You got to give this guy a nod for the All-Star game. He has just been out of his mind. I'm glad he's healthy. I'm glad he's playing the way that I remember Mookie Betts playing. I mean, look at these numbers, man. Mookie Betts hitting 297, a 375 on base, a 575 slugging, a 166 WRC plus, playing great defense like I remember Mookie Betts does. 16 homers, 39 RBIs, got a few stolen bases in there as well. He has just been incredibly solid. So Mookie Betts for me is going to be the first one for the National League. Now, let's take a look at some other guys here in the National League. After Betts, you just have a handful of guys that I think could all get some votes. The guy that's going to get my vote next is Brandon Nimmo. He is healthy this year. He's having a really solid season for the Mets, hitting 263, a 368 on base. If we actually take a look at the rankings in outfielders in the National League, Brandon Nimmo ranks 5th overall there. While, yes, I would like to see some more power from him, some more RBIs, I love the on-base, and the batting average has been pretty solid 126 WRC plus. But where he really helps himself here is his defense. He ranks 3rd right now in the National League among outfielders in defense. So, hey, I like me some Brandon Nimmo. Now, who's going to be the last guy? I'm going to go with a guy that has been heating up as of late. He's not playing up to his usual standards, and we actually saw this a bit last year in the first half, and that's Juan Soto. If you take a look, batting average is down, only hitting 226, but that on-base percentage is really high at 371. Actually, if you take a look at the rankings, Juan Soto is 4th in the National League in on-base percentage right now, a really solid 133 WRC plus. He's still hitting some home runs. He's got 12, 21 RBIs, got a few stolen bases there as well. I think Juan Soto, you have to have this guy in the All-Star game. I don't see how you leave him out. But with Soto, same thing from last year, man. He was off to not his usual starts, got off to a slow start. Remember, he went to the home run derby last year, and then he just set the world on fire in the second half. So for me, Juan Soto, man, you got to have this guy in the All-Star game. Absolutely needs to get the start. So for the starters in the American League, I have Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, and Taylor Ward. And in the National League, I got Mookie Betts, Brandon Nimmo, and Juan Soto. And last but not least, let's go to the designated hitters spot. This one's really easy. I'm not going to waste a lot of time here. I'm going to go Yordan Alvarez in the American League. And in the National League, I'm going to go Bryce Harper. Let's take a look at some of these numbers, man. Yordan Alvarez just signed himself a nice fat extension recently with the Astros. I mean, it absolutely deserves it. This is one of the best hitters in all of Major League Baseball. He's hitting 299, a 395 on base, a 630 slugging, a 195 WRC plus, 17 homers, 38 RBIs. And actually, let's take a look at the leaderboards overall in all of Major League Baseball. If we take a look at offensive numbers here, remember earlier we looked at Paul Goldschmidt, number 1 right now. But with Yordan Alvarez, Overall, with Alvarez, he's ranking 4th here across all of Major League Baseball when it comes to offense. To me, you got to have this guy, man, in the All-Star game. I don't see how you don't. And for the National League, you got to go Bryce Harper, man. Has the torn UCL in his elbow, so that forced him to go to the designated hitter spot, and he has taken quite to it, man. Hitting .306 on the year, a .364 on base, a .628 slugging, 14 homers, 44 RBIs, a .165 WRC plus. Right now, among all designated hitters, or at least players that qualify to be a designated hitter, Wilson Contreras is here. But Harper, I have Contreras for the catcher spot, so for me, you got to go Harper in the National League. I don't see how there's even any other argument. But this is my team or teams for the American League and the National League. Let's take a review. In the American League, at first base, I have Ty France. At second base, I have Andres Jimenez. At third base, I have Jose Ramirez. At shortstop, I have Tim Anderson. At catcher, I have Alejandro Kirk. In the outfield, I have Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, and Taylor Ward. And at designated hitter, I have Yordan Alvarez. Let's go to the National League. Paul Goldschmidt at first base. At second base, I have Jazz Chisholm. At third base, I have Manny Machado. Shortstop, Francisco Lindor. Catcher, Wilson Contreras. In the National League, we got Mookie Betts, Brandon Nimmo, and Juan Soto in the outfield. And for the designated hitter spot, we have Bryce Harper. Now, if I were to kind of lean towards a team here, at least offensively, I got to lean towards the American League overall. There are just some boppers in this American League lineup. You got guys like Alvarez, Judge, Trout. Ward was on fire when he was healthy. Tim Anderson, same thing. This guy's just a machine. Ramirez, just a machine. Ty France, underrated player this year. I like some of these players in the National League. Goldschmidt, he's just been amazing. Machado, amazing. I mean, good grief. Mookie Betts, Harper. These are both really solid teams, in my opinion. But let me know, what would you do for the All-Star game? What players would you pick? Do you think I should have gone with some other players for other positions? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. But that's all I have for right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.